Hello, welcome to the new ADHD support group for women. This just started this week. This is the first recording of our first session. I'd like to see this support group, which is something that's been missing for a very long time in our communities, a place that women could come together and voice their feelings, share tips, right? To share a story, and in the time of the need, that there should be a shoulder, so so to say, to lean on if you need to cry. So I would like that there should be, you should all be able to connect forces, and there should be people. You should know that there are people who are going through everything that you are going through, who understand your situation, and you're not alone. Because when dealing with any situation in life that's difficult, that feeling of being isolated in pain and in fears and in shame, very often those feelings and those feelings and living in such a fashion is a lot more detrimental than the actual situation that we're going through, and that's certainly so in ADHD. So this is the beginning, and I hope you will all enjoy it, and it'll be very beneficial for everybody. Now, before we begin speaking about ADHD itself, which is our topic, so in order to successfully treat and manage ADHD, if you are the mother of a child who's ADHD, or if you are a spouse of ADHD, right now I'm really speaking to the non-ADHD person who is helping taking care of the situation. Okay, you are not the only one, because if it's in a marriage, so both of you are taking care. But for the non-ADHD person, it is of utmost importance to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. Okay, I like to say it's like on the airplane when they show us a video of the oxygen mask coming down, and they tell us that first put the mask on yourself and then you could take care of your child. That's the same exact thing in treating ADHD. This requires a lot of energy, physical, emotional, mental, everything. And when we're tired and we're dealing with large families and a whole entire life with making parnasa, so we really need all the energy we can. And what happens usually is we don't give ourselves any time to take a break, to rest, to recharge our own batteries. But this is, if we want to succeed, this is a first. This is a must. Right? Without it, we cannot succeed. One woman asked me, after I gave her a number of examples of things to do to reward herself, just by herself, to have even 1 minute break, but a 5-minute break, a 20-minute break, a half an hour, whatever it is, so to reward herself with everything that she's doing, and that she could remain sane. Okay, that she could be that mother who wants to give to her children, that she could be that wife who wants to be there and help and support and be behind her husband. So after I gave her a number of examples, she asked me, and what? So the same thing would be if I were to want to have a manicure. I said, most definitely. If that's what you like, so then do it. But don't just do it and as if like habitually. Okay, when dealing with ADHD, we're dealing with a brain condition, right? So we're talking a lot about the brain, and the brain, that's where we have intention and focus. Be focused on what you're doing. You're going to get a manicure. Be focused on this. Why you are rewarding yourself with this manicure. Okay, you've been doing an awesome job. Okay, and you believe in yourself. You're holding your family together, the marriage together. You're helping people. Yeah, you're raising a future generation. You deserve this manicure, that donut, whatever it may be. You need a break, a nap, some music. Yes, give it to yourself, because I've been doing a great job. Okay, not just I need a break or I'm going to collapse. No, do it intentionally and because you truly believe in what you're doing. It's no different from any other mitzvah or anything where there will be schar, and we're going to get rewarded. If you truly believe in what you're doing now, and even if you don't truly believe in it, but you could start to believe in it. Okay, so it's very important to reward yourself now, and that shows, if you could do that, actually, that shows that you really do believe in it. Okay, it's not taking away of anything, and then there will be more of a mother, more of a caregiver here to take care of the family, to take care of everything that needs to get done, that's in your portion to do. Okay, so with that said, now we will begin to go into ADHD itself. ADHD, over the past 10 years, really 15 years, so it has gained a lot of attention. Okay, there's been a lot of very good books in the media and in shows and in magazines and everything. Okay, the problem with all of this talk about ADHD is they're really focusing on what it stands for, of attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and that's what the world, when they hear about ADHD, they say, that kid who can't stop moving, and they have lots of other negative ways to refer to ADHD. That's how they know. That's how the world at large understands ADHD, and its name itself presupposes, right? Presupposes deficit and disorder. Presupposes a lot of problems over here. Now, if I were to tell you right now, do not think of the color red. Whatever you do, don't think of red. Okay, you can't help yourself from thinking about red. And when we speak about attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and we're talking about this big problem, right? And it's a deficit disorder. So you cannot help yourself then thinking otherwise. It's hard to allow yourself even to see the positive and the gifts that are embedded in this brain. Okay, but that's what I want to discuss right now. Okay, when we take attention, ADD. ADD is really the same thing as ADHD without the H, but it's the same thing, the same treatment. Okay, when we take these traits that create ADHD, that ADHD is known for. So Russell Barkley, he's called it the Holy Trinity. I like to call it like the Shalosh Avos, the four fathers of ADHD, which is distractibility, impulsivity, and hyperactivity. When we take distractibility and we look at it for what it really is, let's look at it in its source, in the root of it. So for all three of them, what it is energy. There's power over here. And when we try to define it and try to see with this magnifying glass, what is it really? There's more to distractibility? Yes, there is another side. It's zeh v'umas zeh. There is something that contrasts the exact opposite of the distractibility, or where it's really coming from. There's power and energy, but now what's going to happen with it? Okay, distractibility is very often is coming from a brain who is very curious, who's very caring, who's very concerned with people, with the world, with everything. So if it's in a class, or if you're trying to read a book, or trying to speak to another person, so everything, all the stimuli that are coming in, visual, okay, or auditorial, all these types of things will pull his attention because he's interested. What's going on over here? And why is he moving like this? Is he trying to really express himself in a certain way? What is he trying to express over here? So this is attention surplus. There's a lot of attention. There's not attention deficit. The exact opposite is true. Okay, there's a lot of attention over here, but this fellow doesn't yet understand it. So he's all over the place, and he looks distracted. That's fine, but that's a person who's caring, who's concerned, who is very curious. But when we move on to impulsivity, depends on being a spontaneous person, which is almost every single ADHD person. There's a lot of spontaneous going on over there, and impulsivity is when it's gone right. That's the creative person. If it's when they're studying and they come up with ideas, okay, or if they come up with new inventions, or if it's music or the arts. Many of my clients are musicians, and many of them are artists. Many of them are writers, even. And these are people who are coming up, and they can write something new, a new story, a new everything. That's the brain, that's impulsive, that's creative. And they could come to conclusions, they could come up with ideas. They don't even know how they got there, but they have it. And so this is a beautiful gift also of life. And then we'll go on to hyperactivity. So this is nothing less than energy, power, strength. Okay? Vitamins and health programs is a multi-billion-dollar business in the world today. This person who was born with ADHD, and he's got that hyperactivity, he's got an innate source of non-stop energy. So this is when we're looking at the positive side of it. But what's very, very important is when we are aware of this energy, when we are aware of our creativity, and when we are aware of our caring, our hearts, these golden, gigantic hearts. Okay, because if we're not aware of it, that big heart could be a source of a lot of pain for the person himself. He's so caring and he's so giving, but he gets hurt from it. And the energy could be going and going and going, and it gets lost. And with the creativity, yes, there's a lot of creativity, and it is a blessing, but it's very saddening when we have great ideas and we can't bring them down to earth. We had this idea and this idea, yes, and we go on, and we never actually give these ideas a chance to mature, to grow up, to become something. The ADHD person is aware of this, and that leads to a tremendous source of pain within the person. So if we want to treat it effectively, and not just to manage it, that's the very beginning, but to manage, yes, we're not in most cases it doesn't get cured. The person remains ADHD for the rest of his life, but that's great when we understand what it really is, and we learn to manage it. Then we become the best with it. As a mother or the caregiver over here, so it's very important to know this, because if we're dealing with a child or a spouse or ourselves, and we just view ourselves as this person in this negative way, right? So that's what we're going to see more and more of. That's what's going to produce. It lowers expectations and everything. It brings in feelings, and it ruins lives. It's so important to know that there is hope, but not just hope. Hope is in the very, very beginning. Very beginning. Okay, we could actually materialize dreams that we would never have the audacity to dream about when it's approached properly. When we look at it properly, the pasuk says, "K'mayim ponim el ponim, k'leiv odom," the odom, that the way a person's heart to his friend, the way a person looks into a water. If you bend over and look into a pond of water and you'll see a reflection, that's how my heart represents your heart. I look at you, you could feel it and you get that. And it's the same thing with ourselves. The way I look at myself, that's how I'm going to become more of. So if I see the goodness in my spouse, in my child, in myself, that will develop and become more and more and more. That goodness grows. If I focus on their shortcomings, and I make that into a whole entire issue and create beliefs out of it, that's what we're going to get more of also. So we have to be very careful in this world with how we can think, and that is our choice. Okay, nobody goes and creates ADHD. We're born with it, but we could be very effective in how and what it's going to turn out into. it could turn out to prison and divorces and broken relationships and everything, or it could turn out to the best relationships in the world. It could turn out to joy that would never be expected, and that it really depends on what we do between our own two ears and how we just think about it and see it and view it. Okay? The pasuk says also that who desires life? A person who wants to see the good in the days. We have that choice to see the goodness in every single situation. When we do that, and it's not easy, nobody said it's easy, and we will have setbacks, but remind ourselves of what we really want from ourselves or from our spouse or child, right? That'll give us the strength to pull through and to succeed. And it's another thing in ADHD, and I used to feel this very often with myself, where I had a teacher who told me that you'll never be successful. In yeshiva, that's what he told me. And this is what ADHD people are hearing all the time, non-stop. And it's these remarks that do more damage than ADHD itself does. So, but when we learn about it and we accept ourselves, so that same student who was told he'll never be successful, and he feels rotten and he's been casted off, that's what it says in Tehillim also. It says, Evan Masu Habaynim Haisel Rosh Pina. Okay, that stone that the builders despise and were sick of became the cornerstone. Okay, that becomes the cornerstone of the Beis Hamikdash. These are people, these are even leaders of our generation, even today. And if you look back, also, it's the same thing. I mean, who else goes and when he's 3 years old and crushes all of his father's idols? Yes, all on his own. Yeah. Who else says Nasa v'nishma and goes and does? Okay. This is our nation. It's in our genes, and ADHD is something that in most cases is in